is aligned with the United States already, and we're going to be able to do good things together.
Trump has always been clear about putting American interests first, and he's never shied away from taking bold steps to do so. With his America First approach, Trump aims to strengthen the American economy by focusing on domestic industries and limiting reliance on foreign products. This approach often means imposing tariffs on imports, especially from close trading partners like Canada.
Did you reject a one-on-one meeting with the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau?
Yeah, I did.
Why?
Because his tariffs are too high and he doesn't seem to want to move, and I told him forget about it. And
recently, he proposed a 10%.
Incoming U.S. President Donald Trump just obliterated outgoing Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau live. This simple diplomatic conversation between two friendly neighboring states turned into a painful political smackdown. Donald Trump doesn't pull his punches. He didn't hesitate for a second before calling out Trudeau's errors and failures, leaving the Canadian Prime Minister lost for words.
And tonight we're getting some new details about that Trump-Trudeau dinner from two people who were at the table. We are told that when Trudeau told President-elect Trump that new tariffs would kill the Canadian economy, Trump joked to him that if Canada can't survive without ripping off the U.S. to the tune of $100 billion a year, then maybe Canada should become the 51st state and Trudeau could become
So grab your bucket-sized bag of popcorn in one hand and your bumper-sized bottle of Coca-Cola in the other. Sit yourself down and enjoy this roller coaster ride through international politics. Just listen to re-elected U.S. President Donald Trump putting upstart Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau in his place. Just remember to buckle up, because you're about to feel the full power of President Donald Trump's political arsenal as he humiliates Justin Trudeau like never before. It appeared to be a simple diplomatic meeting between the leaders of the United States and Canada. Trudeau seemed calm and composed and as smooth and debonair as ever as he sat down with the past and future president of the United States. But this isn't just any meeting. It is live television, and cameras are rolling, capturing every moment of truth.
And of course, Trump being Trump, he didn't let that slide. Instead of a simple slap on the wrist, he escalated the tariffs from 5% to a wallet-crushing 10% because, you know, why not make things twice as bad? Oh, and that's just the start.
If Trump is serious about deporting people, rounding them up, a lot of these people will head for the Canadian border. And although we have an agreement with the United States, it's not a treaty. The United States could rip up the agreement.
Toss in new immigration hurdles and a slew of economic headaches, and Canada's teetering on the brink of chaos.
The leaders exchanged pleasantries, talked trade agreements, and discussed global issues. But then, out of nowhere, Trump dropped a bombshell, challenging Trudeau's stance on crucial international issues, unrealistic defense policies, and crippling trade tariffs.
The internet went into meltdown after the hilarious post, with this commentator saying, "I just love how Trump shows absolutely zero respect to Trudeau. Please continue trolling him, Mr. President." And this wasn't the first time Trump has taken cheap shots at Trudeau. The president-elect started the joke during a dinner with Trudeau at Mar-a-Lago after the Canadian Prime Minister made a desperate dash to settle tariff tensions.
Trump wasted no time in calling out Trudeau's inconsistencies and questioning his policies. Trudeau, ever the politician, tried to dodge the punches with a smile, but it quickly became clear that Trump wasn't going to let him off easy. The air shifted from cordial to confrontational faster than anyone anticipated. Trump's sharp tongue and quick wit were ready for battle, and Trudeau was unprepared for the storm that was coming.
U.S. President-elect Donald Trump is doubling down on his jokes about Canada becoming the 51st state. On Tuesday, Trump posted to his social media platform, Truth Social, calling Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, quote, governor of the great state of Canada. The post comes after Trudeau spoke at the Halifax Chamber of Commerce on Monday, commenting on Trump's plans to impose 25% tariffs on all products from Canada and Mexico.
Frankly, I wasn't expecting any of this. Incoming President Trump ripped into the Canadian PM's disastrous policies on trade, military spending, and economic priority. First, Trump turned up the heat on Canada's defense spending. He criticized Trudeau for not meeting NATO's defense spending targets, a point that Trump has hammered out with his European allies.
Toss in new immigration hurdles and a slew of economic headaches, and Canada's teetering on the brink of chaos. All thanks to Trudeau's ego trip, not Trump's. Way to go, Justin. You've really outdone yourself this time. And it all happened on live TV when Trump decided to go full throttle and threatened to pull the plug on vital economic and defense.
The look on Trudeau's face is priceless. He is caught off guard and unable to slither his way out of the trap. The room is tense, and the camera are closing in and capturing every moment and twitch of discomfort. This is classic Trump, targeting the other man's failings, leaving him mumbling and fumbling for illogical response. The world sees outgoing Canadian Prime Minister, who is supposed to be the embodiment of calm and reason, but is looking like a deer caught in the headlight, or sights.
Trump then did what Trump does best. He turned up the heat, calling out Trudeau's laughably low defense spending.
We are more influenced by American media and American cultural developments, I would say, than any other country.
According to him, Canada isn't just behind the curve in NATO, it's barely making an effort. In fact, Trump basically painted the Canadian military as a relic. Think warships from the History Channel special rather than a defense force you'd take seriously. And then Trump dropped what can only be described as the political equivalent of a sucker punch: mass deportations. He laid out his plan to start rounding up and deporting millions of people the second he steps back into office. You know what that means, right?
A few years ago, when the G7 last met in Canada, all of a sudden Trump changes his position and describes Trudeau as weak and a wimp, essentially.
A flood of migrants heading straight for the Canadian border, putting already strained resources to the test. The idea of a mass migration crisis unfolding in real time is the kind of nightmare fuel that Trudeau can't just brush off, and his face during Trump's tirade, pure, unfiltered panic. It was the look of a man suddenly realizing he's sitting on a ticking time bomb and the clock is running out. But hold up, it got even messier. Trump didn't stop at military insults and border threats. He went in on Canada's economy, laying out a ruthless strategy to cripple it with new tariffs. We're talking high-stakes punishment on oil, lumber, manufacturing, pretty much everything holding up the Canadian economy. It was as if Trump had drawn a big red target on Canada's back and was daring Trudeau to do something about it.
This is a total humiliation for Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Trump is landing heavy blow after blow, and Trudeau's responses are feeble at best. He is attempting to deflect the punches by blabbering on about the so-called cooperation between Canada and the US, but Trump isn't backing down. He is calling Trudeau out for his outdated defense strategies and his disastrous trade deals.
Make no mistake, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau wants to show off, flexing Canada's military muscle to counter this.
NATO has not treated us fairly, but I think we'll work something out. We pay far too much, and they pay far too little.
Trudeau can't put together a solid defense. He is repeating his tired old lines about being allies and partners, but it is clear he is struggling. Trump, on the other hand, is relentless, calling out Trudeau for failing to meet NATO's defense commitments. Once again, he has exposed the gap between Trudeau's words and actions, leaving the Canadian Prime Minister scrambling.
He has called member countries and allied countries in the past delinquent for not meeting the 2% standard. Where would you put Canada in that, as they're not?
Slightly delinquent, I'd say, Canada, but they'll be okay. I have confidence. Just slightly delinquent. No, some are major delinquent. Some are way below 1%, and that's unacceptable. And then if something happens, we're supposed to protect them, and it's not really fair. And it never has been fair. And they're paying up. We are talking to Germany tomorrow, and they're starting to come along. They have to. They have to. Otherwise, if they don't want to, I'll have to do something with respect to trade.
So Canada's...
This isn't just a diplomatic discussion. It is a Trump masterclass in dominating a political opponent. The contrast is crystal clear. Trump, the former and future president of the United States, is exuding confidence and control, while Trudeau, the about-to-deposed leader of Canada, is looking flustered and unable to keep up or take a deep breath. The moment the conversation ended, headlines flooded news outlets around the world, each one painting the picture of a humiliating defeat for Justin Trudeau. "Trump dismantles Trudeau on live TV," read one headline. "Trudeau left, stumbling after Trump's brutal takedown," another said. The social media storm is just as intense, with memes and viral clips spreading like wildfire.
Hampshire. But then when they started talking, he said, "You can't put 25% tariffs on us. It will destroy my country," he said.
Right. And Fox News has spoken to two people who were at that table with Trudeau and the president. And the president was very direct about what he wants. He said Canada is letting in drugs and people from 70 different countries. And then here's a quote that you'll find at foxnews.com. The president-elect told the prime minister, if Canada cannot fix the border issues and trade deficit, he will levy a 25% tariff on all Canadian goods on day one when he returns to office. And Trudeau, there was a little laughter there, then Trudeau told him he can't levy the tariff because it would kill the...
For Trudeau, this isn't just one more bad day at the office, to add to the many other bad days he has already had. It is a public relations disaster. His image of a calm, confident, and competent leader has been instantly shattered. And Trump? He emerged looking like the political juggernaut he's always been, with his supporters rallying behind him and his detractors scrambling for words.
36 days, that's how long Donald Trump has been president-elect. He's been really busy selecting a cabinet, talking to world leaders, following up on campaign promises, usually on social media. And now, our first CNN poll since Election Day shows most people are happy with what they're seeing from the incoming commander-in-chief. CNN's David Chalian is at the Magic Wall to break down the numbers. David.
Dana, you're right. There's no doubt that the president is going to enter office with a little bit of a honeymoon. Take a look here. Donald Trump has a 55% approval rating. That's not normally a support level we see for him as it relates to his handling of the transition right now.
In a strange acquisition, to add insult to injury, the timing couldn't have been worse for Trudeau. His approval ratings have already been slipping in Canada, and this public humiliation has only added fuel to the raging fire. The media frenzy has ensured that every Canadian is doubting the credibility of their so-called leader.
Resignation. This unprecedented revolt exposes a level of frustration that's been simmering beneath the surface for months. The MP's grievances run deep, touching on everything from policy decisions to Trudeau's leadership style. What's most shocking is the brazenness of their actions. These aren't whispered complaints in the corridors of power. This is an organized rebellion. Trudeau's overseas trip became the catalyst for this uprising. With the Prime Minister out of the country, his critics seized the moment to gather and voice their frustrations. It's a move that speaks volumes about the current state of the Liberal Party. The once united front has crumbled, revealing deep cracks in the foundation of Trudeau's leadership.
This live TV moment isn't just about politics. It's about the power of Donald Trump's personality. Trump has a unique ability to command any room, and in this case, it is a television studio. His confidence, his sharpness, and his ability to cut through political niceties with brutal honesty are displayed to telling effect. He knows how to dominate the room and the narrative, and he is doing it here with as surgical precision. Trump's strength lies not just in his policies, but in his ability to read the room. He knows when to go for the jugular and when to land the uppercut. This is why Trump is so dangerous to his opponents. He doesn't just engage in the political battle. He owns the boxing ring.
So why didn't they steal this election?
Because I think it was too big to rig. And I always knew he was going to give him a pardon. I don't like putting myself in a position like that. He weaponized the Justice Department, and he went after his political opponent, me. Migrants are pouring into the country. I don't want to be Joe Biden. Autism was almost non-existent, and now it's close to 1 out of 100. What's happening? You know what I'm interested in? Drilling and getting prices down and stopping people from pouring.
Following this humiliating encounter, many are asking, what what's next for Justin Trudeau? The fallout from this public debacle has been significant. In Canada, Trudeau's political opponents have seized on the moment, using it as ammunition to paint him as incompetent and ineffective. Conservative leaders in Canada are already using the incident as part of their campaign to portray Trudeau as incapable of standing up to the tough challenges of international politics.
Canada made me a promise. It makes all of us a promise, whether we're born here or arrive as immigrants. You work hard, you get a good life. That anyone from anywhere can do anything. That hard work gets a powerful paycheck that buys affordable food and homes and safe neighborhoods. And that promise, like everything else, is broken after 9 years of Trudeau and the NDP Liberals. Most of all, he broke our immigration system. Today's immigration flip-flop is a massive admission of failure by Justin Trudeau. An admission that he's not worth the cost or the corruption.
For Trudeau, this could have long-term consequences. His ability to project strength and competence on the global stage has been undermined, and the public's perception of his leadership has been tainted. The damage may not be immediate, but it could be Trudeau's final downfall.
You know what's up? Inflation's up. All 4 measures of inflation are now above target. Unemployment's up. In Toronto, it's over 10%. You know what else is up? Housing costs. They've actually doubled. They've risen more than in any other country in the G7. You know what else is up? Food bank use is up. It too has doubled, with 2 million people lined up at the food bank. And you know what else is up again? The promise-breaking inflationary deficit. So why doesn't he tell us, if he's figured out how to count, what the deficit will be this year?
This incident only reinforces Trump's position as a political heavyweight. No matter where he goes, he commands attention, and his ability to destroy opponents in these kinds of public settings only adds to his legend. Whether he's running for president yet again, or simply engaging in political discourse, Donald Trump remains a force to be reckoned with. And he's made it clear that even Canada's Prime Minister is not safe from his wrath.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau brushed by reporters and any questions about Donald Trump's late-night post. In it, the president-elect said, "It was a pleasure to have dinner the other night with Governor Justin Trudeau of the great state of Canada. I look forward to seeing the governor again soon." A continuation of a comment he made during that dinner at Mar-a-Lago, where Donald Trump suggested if our country can't survive without a trade imbalance, maybe Canada should become the 51st state.
Though, this isn't just a heated exchange, it's a political debacle. The triumphant re-elected U.S. President Donald Trump just humiliated Justin Trudeau on live TV in a way that left the Canadian Prime Minister reeling and on the ropes. Trump just needed a few well-timed words to dislodge Trudeau's flawed political posture and leave him helpless and exposed, and scrambling for a response.
Last night again, we obviously talked about laying out the facts about how one of the things that we've seen from the president is that he finds himself.
This isn't just a resounding win for Trump and the U.S. It is a devastating blow to Trudeau's image and his hopeless struggle for political survival. Like we've seen time and time again, Trump isn't afraid to go for the jugular when it comes to his political opponents.
6th President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Folks, how are you? Great to be here. Thank you.
And please welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump.
We are very, very close to World War III, and he's driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him, they don't fear him, they have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
You want a World War III?
Love him or hate him, one thing's for sure. Trump knows how to make a statement, and this moment was no exception. So, what do you think? Did Donald Trump deliver a decisive blow to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau? Or is this just another example of Trump's over-the-top political style? Is Prime Minister Trudeau down and dusted? Or can he clamber to his feet and wobble around for another round or two of politics, deception, and corruption?
But it's clear that they're willing to go to extreme lengths to cover up their corruption, that they're willing to put the business of Parliament off to the side just to protect Liberal insiders. Liberal-friendly appointees to this board funneled money to their own companies. That's taxpayers' money. And while Canadians are paying higher carbon taxes, higher prices at the grocery store, higher mortgage costs with high interest rates, Liberal insiders stopped and enriched themselves. It's never been so good to be a Liberal insider. It's never been so tough to be a hardworking Canadian. This will be question period, but as to the business that the House debates every day, the Speaker has ruled that these corruption motions must be dealt with before any other business can be done. That's also a question for the government. They control when they assign days, and they control when the House can move on by transmitting the documents to the RCMP.
How are you voting on the block motion today?
The answer coming in a few minutes. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more.